Dave, good to have you with us. I would love to hear your feedback of what you experienced in Dallas with the Mavericks and the Luka situation and the Lakers. Like, just give us your feedback 48 hours later.
Yeah, Cappy, there's been very few regular season games that have occurred in the NBA that during the 20 seasons I've covered it that I'm like, oh man, I wish I got a chance to cover that. There's two that come to mind. Kobe's 60-point send-off.
Yep.
And LeBron's first game back in Cleveland as a member of the Heat. Like, I've heard countless stories from my friends who are reporters in the business about those two nights that I have a degree of professional jealousy that will never be satiated. I was really glad to be able to cover that game in Dallas and get a glimpse. It's not the same as those two, but there was an extra special something in the air. And to see that 26-year-old kid go out, suppress the emotions that he was feeling, all sorts of them, trying to come to grips with really turning the page on the Dallas Mavericks chapter of his career, and then just go out and annihilate his former team. It was great. LeBron said it after that it's a night he'll always remember when he looks back at his career, and like my side reporting wise, I'll feel the same way.
Dave, I said earlier on the show, watching Luka and the emotions he felt, like how he was brought to tears by the video they played for him and all that, kind of reminded me of Freddie Freeman when he was against the Braves that first year after he came over. And it was like, I've felt since Luka's been here that, he's still a little shell-shocked by what happened. He's still hurt, so getting over it. And I'm wondering if he'll that night, that emotional release that he had, like going back to Dallas and kind of feeling that from the fans there, but also he spent an extra day there, right? He stayed over for from off the court event with a I think it was at Dick's Sporting Goods with a youth organization. I think that'll help him, like at least find some closure or be able to like move into his new life now.
Yeah, Ramon, I don't think you're overstating it there. And to be able to go through that moment with the new people he's going to lean on, I think was significant. And just the way, like, it's a small thing, but the way when he checked out of the game and there's a Luka chant and Jackson Hayes, I'll give him credit. I think he's the first one who kind of picked up on it. And then he starts the Luka chant around Dončić in the huddle. And then there's LeBron doing it. And then there's Austin Reeves doing it. That's, JJ Redick cited the Lakers assistant coach Greg St. Jean as being this, like, an awesome moment for the team that kind of like warp speed their togetherness and camaraderie. And I totally buy that. I think that get it right now, too, a week before the playoffs. Like, what more could you want in terms of connective tissue that they can all reference as they go into the most important games of the season?
All right, Dave McMenamin is here at Sedano and Kap. Mike Trudell's in the house. Ramona is here. Beto is somewhere around, and we got a lot we want to talk to Dave about. Dave, I just want to back up for one quick second. Go to the night before at Oklahoma City when Luka gets tossed. Two things. One, you went and spoke to the fan after the game. I would hope you'll tell us about that.
That was some great reporting, by the way, Dave.
That was awesome.
That was great.
And so I want to hear what you talked to the fan about. And the second part of it is, when the league rescinds the tech, hey, what does that really mean? Because you screwed up the entire game and the Lakers wound up losing that game. Dave, how was the fan? Like, explain what happened.
Yeah, so the fan was located in the second row in front of where my media seat was. I'm up at the top of the first section at their arena in Oklahoma City, but I had my eyes on him the whole way. So I already saw Luka jawing back and forth with him before the moment that caught JT Orr's attention, which led to the second technical and the ejection. And so the way I was going out of my media seat when the game had ended to get back to the media workroom, like I was passing where the fan was anyway. So I'm like, I might as well get his take on things. Of course, very comical to me that he identified himself as, he literally said this, quote, AKA the courtside tattoo guy.
Yeah.
So he's very proud of his little piece of the Oklahoma City sports scene. But he said that proudly said that, hey, I did this last year with Luka in the playoffs too. And so there's a history there. And, he said he was basically telling Luka that his shots were short all night. And then Luka made that turnaround in the lane, and then that's when he yelled something at the fan. Now, the fan said it was an explicative, not an expletive. I made sure to quote him properly so we knew what type of fan we're dealing with. But as far as the second part of the question, it's. I mean, of course, it's like the toothpaste already out of the tube, but because the league has punitive penalties as you collect technical fouls, that's why it's important it was rescinded. Because let's say he was at 15 technicals right now, and that was his 16th, he would be suspended for a game and wouldn't be able to play tonight with the Lakers having a chance to clinch number 3 in the West. So that's why it's important for the league to get things right after the fact. Of course, it doesn't change the result of the game, though.
So, Dave, the interesting part for me, and take all of the stuff with the fan and everything out of it, was just that the Lakers were up 1 when Luka gets ejected. And this is a day after, I guess 2 days after, they really put out a statement game by beating the Thunder thoroughly. And then they, instead of, a lot of teams would think, well, it's a back-to-back, maybe they'll even rest guys. Usually in a game 2 of a playoff series, if you blow out a team in their home arena in game 1, they come back with the fury of all hells. And so OKC did, and the Lakers still had an answer. So that was informative to me, because when you look at the West, Dave, so they have almost the identical record, the Lakers, in the conference as the Thunder do. It's separated by 2 games, and that basically would erase if the Lakers end up winning that game. They've shown that they can beat all of these teams, and that to me puts them in a pretty uniquely confident position, even though they're the 3 seed. But going in, and I don't know that there's a team that they fear, right? It's just about having to take care of business as they go round by round to me.
Yeah, I agree with you, Mike. Now, of course, OKC went up, I think it was maybe 10 or 12 in the first or second quarter, and the Lakers, part of their blowout win on Sunday, we're like, is this just an anomaly? Because they were extremely hot from 3, hitting 22 from deep. But they reproduced that again, so which means, like, against this vaunted OKC defense, they're able to generate great shots. And so they should have a great deal of confidence coming out of the game. I was really impressed that they went for it. Like, I was kind of the opinion, if you go to OKC and get a split, you should be happy with it. So if you get it on Sunday, then feel free to rest your guys on Tuesday, knowing that the second night of the back-to-back Wednesday in Dallas is, a huge game for many, many reasons. But they took their cues from J.J. Redick, who, basically told the team, I guess he shared with us, it had to be after wasn't clear. I don't know if it was after the first Chicago loss or the second Chicago loss. But he got in their ears and was like, guys, we're going for broke from here on out. And I think it's a heck of a way to go. Like, fortune favors the brave, and they are going for it, even if their leader is 40 years old, even if, Rui Hachimura is dealing with a knee injury, and Dorian Finney-Smith's been on minute restrictions since he came here from Brooklyn, et cetera, et cetera. Like, let's get in the mode of every single game matters. Another thing JJ said, they're trying to use their off days the same way you would in the playoffs. So make sure that the preparation, both mentally and physically, is you're treating that the same way you would in the postseason. And I think you have a team right now that, I don't want to be hyperbolic because we're in an LA market, but they're as dangerous as any team in the NBA right now.
Yep, I would agree.
And we're not just basing that, Dave, on they have LeBron on their team or they have Luka on their team. Like, usually when we talk about the Lakers as a contender, it's just because they had those 2 star players. I think the way they play and the way they match up with a lot of the teams, especially in the first part of this bracket here that looks like they're going to be in, is pretty good. Hey, Dave, do you have earbuds in?
I don't. I'm driving down.
You're driving, so you can't look at your text messages.
Oh, really? You texting him?
I texted him something.
You want to tell us what you said?
No, I want him to look at his text, but I don't want him.
Careful, Dave. Careful. Dave McMenamin is here.
Jeez, guys, private text.
I know, right?
I know,
in the
but
middle
I
of
gotta,
this conversation.
I'm being classy
Come on.
here.
I mean, Dave McMenamin, Lakers reporter for ESPN, is here.
Beto just texted me. I
Beto?
gotta look at it real quick.
Take a look at that. Take a look at that. Hey, Dave, just to wrap things up. So we went from what happened in Dallas. We backtracked to what happened in Oklahoma City. Let's bring it back to what happened in Dallas. Last thing from me. So when Mike Breen said during the broadcast, the first time Anthony Davis touched the ball, he was like, oh, yeah. Anthony Davis was the other side of this trade.
Yeah.
It was all about Luka that night. Dave, we can talk about the defense that the Lakers deployed against Anthony Davis, but only 13 points. What did you think about the way Anthony Davis showed up or didn't show up that night against the Lakers?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't nearly the type of showing that we know he's accustomed, or we know that he's capable of doing, having seen him in LA all these years.
They did front him and trap him the whole game.
Yeah, of course. But, Mike, we saw games where teams would do that. He'd still grab 20 rebounds and get 5 blocks. So it wasn't his best on either end. But,
True.
I think I spoke to him when the Mavericks were in LA and he wasn't able to play in that game. And he told me that then, like, he was really motivated to be able to get back from this injury so he could play in that game in April against the Lakers. And so certainly give him credit for that, to come back, once Kyrie went out and, they're dealing with injuries up and down the roster, he could have shut it down. He would have been within his rights to do so. So give him credit for coming back. But, I think it did underscore the inequity of the trade and I think Anthony Davis is, certainly on the short list of top two-way players in the game when he's right, and also one of the best people I've been around when it comes to superstars in the game. So all that said, though, he's not in the same category whatsoever as Luka Dončić. And kind of no matter what AD is able to accomplish with the Mavs, and including, I would say, a championship, I don't think it frees everybody up who was involved in that deal on the Dallas side in terms of all is forgiven. And usually you do say that, like a championship means like all is forgiven. But because we're looking at maybe 15 more years of Luka Dončić's career, I have a hard time thinking that the Davis-led Mavs will do anything that absolves Nico Harrison and the ownership group from making this deal.
It's weird watching that game because so much of what the Mavericks based what they did on was this idea that we would have a shorter championship window to contend with Kyrie and AD and the guys they had. And I still thought they could win. I don't know if they'd be favorites or anything, but I like their team. It's just the wheels have fallen off. Like Kyrie's out for a year now with this knee injury, and they're finally getting some guys back. I don't really know why they're trying to get the 10 seed or the 9 seed or whatever they're going to get, because they'd be better off trying to be in the lottery and get a better pick. Last time they did that, they got Derek Lively. But it's were you able to go over to the Mavericks locker room at all or listen to Jason Kidd while you were there? Did you get a vibe on that team and how they feel versus like right after the trade when they came through here in LA?
Yeah, I mean, certainly the veil of this could work out for us as well has been pulled from that team. Certainly in the short term, I'll say.
Especially with Kyrie's injury.
Yeah. AD still feels good overall about the situation. He believes that they have young talent there, and everybody gets right. They can make some noise in the West. But there's been wind taken out of their sails that the fact that they thought they would have a chance this year. Mm-hmm. And no one is thinking like, okay, we get in as a 10 seed and then we get out of the play-in tournament and then we're going to upset Oklahoma City. Like, no, that's not where their heads are at. So they're kind of dead men walking for this year. So it's hard to kind of balance the long-term vision with the recognition that, man, we had our hopes dashed. And a couple months ago, we thought, hey, maybe we could do something now. Yeah, the Kyrie injury, changed everything. Hey, Dave, great job on Wednesday night, especially on SportsCenter. Describing the feeling and the emotion and everything that was going on there in Dallas. You did a really great job. Have fun tonight, and we will see you for the playoffs. All right, thanks, guys.